Hello, welcome to Auditing Computerized Information System. In this video, we are going to talk about your revenue cycle or your sales to cash collection cycle. All right. The proper identification and acceptance of all sales are an important element of internal control of a company's income statement. It represents the primary source of most companies' operational cash flow and therefore needs to be protected, managed, and monitored using financial internal control. The following accounting or the revenue cycle procedure should be utilized to account for the for and recognize all sales income of the company. Now, in your revenue cycle, you have a lot of steps that you follow. And as you go on with the steps, you're actually facing also a threat in your system, both manual and of course in the computerized system. So this time we are going to focus on your computerized system. Also, you have to include on your revenue cycle as well as on your other procedures or processing cycles, you have to inculcate or you have to integrate in your system an effective control. And we are also going to tackle that in this topic. In your revenue cycle, you have your first step, which is sales order entry. The second is your point of sale orders. Next is your customer credit approval and the terms of the credit. The fourth one is your sales order acceptance. Next is the shipment of goods. You also have your billing as well. Next, invoice and accounts receivable. Next is your sales tax collection, the billing progress, the accounts collection, and lastly, customer returns, if any. Okay? Let us start. What are the questions that will be addressed in this video? Number one, the basic business activity and data processing operation that are performed in the revenue cycle. Another question to be addressed is that what decision need to be made in the revenue cycle and what information is needed to make this decision. Next, we're also going to answer the question regarding the major threats in the revenue cycle and what controls related to those threats must be prepared or must be implemented in the entity. All right. So let's introduce to you the revenue cycle. Your revenue cycle is the first accounting procedure that you should utilize in dealing with your sales order. All your customer order will be processed in an efficient manner and in an organized manner while ensuring accuracy and prompt shipment. Okay? Your revenue cycle is actually a recurring set of a business activity related to information processing operation associated with providing goods and services to the customer at the right price, at the right time, okay, with the right system. Now, the company should summarize the preparation of documents, paper workflow, and responsibilities by the individuals and department for obtaining the sales order until the goods are shipped to the customer. Okay? That's why you have your revenue cycle. Now, your revenue cycle's objective is to provide the right product in the right place at the right time for the right price. Okay? So, there are no lefts here. There is no more and no less as well. And to accomplish that objective, the management must make many key decisions. Okay? And what are the key decisions under your revenue cycle? Number one, to what extent can and should product be customized to individual customers' needs and desires? You have to decide on that one. Next one, how many inventory should be carried on your stocks as well? Number one, to consider your obsolescence or overstocking or understocking of your inventories as well. And where should that inventory be located? You have to efficiently and effectively plan your inventories, level, and of course, the location. How much or how should merchandise be delivered to customer? Do you use distribution channel or do you deliver your goods yourself as an entity? Should the company perform the shipping function itself or are they going to outsource a third party just like having or partnering with distribution channels or delivery applications. What are the optimal prices for each product or service? You have to set that limit as well. And of course, when you set your price, it is not on a short-term basis. Remember, in setting your prices, those price must be for a long-term basis. Okay? Next, should credit be extended to customer? What will be your basis then? Next is how much credit should be given to individual customers. Okay? If credit will be approved or authorized, at how much? You also have to decide on this one. Next, what credit terms must be offered to your customer, and how can your customer pay you in order for you to maximize your cash flows as well? Those are the decision items, okay, or the decision functions that you have to identify and you have to address under the revenue cycle. Okay, AIS basic function. In the revenue cycle, your AIS has three basic functions. Number one, capturing and processing data about the business activity. Every transaction must be captured and processed in your accounting information system. Next one, storing and organizing that data to support your decision making, I should say. So you should store, or your AIS would also serve as a storage and in organizing the data that will be needed to support the decision making. Let us say you'll need this report. Anytime, your system can generate that specific report to help the decision making process. And of course, providing controls so that you ensure reliability of the data, the integrity of the data, and of course, safeguarding your resources as well. You are not only concerned with your information, you should also be concerned with your resources, just like your inventory itself. Okay? Again, those are the three basic functions of your AIS in the revenue cycle. The revenue cycle as a business activity, there are four basic business activity performed in the revenue cycle, and you are very familiar with this one. Number one, you have your sales order entry. You receive the order of your customer, you process the order. Next, the shipping of the order. After processing, after the credit approval, after having the order processed and addressed and authorized, you can now go to the warehouse, pull out the stock for the shipment of the goods. Next is of course the billing. And lastly is the cash collection. These are the four basic activities performed in the revenue cycle, and as you do this activity, there will be threats and there must be controls that should be in place, and we will tackle that later. We start with the sales order entry or the sales order procedure. The sales order procedure include the task involving receiving and processing a customer order. Receiving and processing customer order. Don't forget that. That is your first step. Number one, on the steps in the entry or sales order entry process, you have to take the customer's order. In taking the customer's order, the sales process begins with the receipt of your customer order indicating the type and the quantity of merchandise desired. At this point, the customer order is not a standard format. It is just item filled out by your customer forwarded to you. Okay, you'll be the one creating the formal sales order information or sales order sheet. Okay, now when a customer is also a business entity, the order is often a copy of customer's purchase order. A purchase order is part of the expenditure cycle, and that will be discussed on a later part. All right. Now, because the customer order is not the standard format, as I mentioned earlier, your seller's order processing system needs the first task to transcribe it into a formal sales order. So as you take your customer's order, you start the process with your formal sales order. Okay? And when you create your sales order, a copy of it is placed on your customer open order file. You create your sales order and then you forward that, or that is saved or placed in the customer open order file. Okay? Next, after taking the customer's order and processing the sales order, you now start to check the credit. Before processing further, the customer's credit worthiness needs to be established, and the circumstance of the sale will determine the nature and degree of the credit check. Example, you will go a full financial investigation to establish the line of credit. You'll have to check their financial background in order for you to know how much credit will you extend, what will be your credit term, and how will be the collection policy. Okay? The credit approval process is an authorization control. So as you go on in this process already, there is your number one control, which is your authorization, and should be performed as a function separate from the sale activity. Again, the authorization control should be separate from the sales activity. In the conceptual system and of course in practice, the receive order task will send the sales order or credit copy to the check credit task for approval. And then the returned approved sales order will trigger the continuation of the sales process already. And then you check the availability of your inventory already for the pickup of the goods. The receive order activity forwards the stock release document, which is also called your picking ticket. Again, you have your stock release document or picking ticket to the to pick the goods, okay, in the warehouse. Now, the document will identify the items of inventory that will be picked up and of course the quantity, okay? It also provides formal authorization that the warehouse personnel can release that specific item of inventory from the warehouse. And then after the picking of the stock, the order will then be verified for accuracy and a verified stock release will be sent to the shipment, okay? Or shipping department. And then you have to respond to customer inquiries then. Now, after pull outing, okay, or after pulling or getting or picking your inventory from the warehouse, you have to adjust your stock records already so that you can reflect the reduction on your inventory level. And then upon shipment, of course, before the arrival of goods and the verified stock release document, the shipping department will receive the packing slip and then the shipping notice from the receive order function. And then they are responsible for the shipment to your customers already. So that is the sales order. Now in taking customer order, there are many different ways. You can take it through phone, field representative, you have email, you have your web. It can be through your web page. Okay? And of course, you have your choice board, especially if you have your website, if you have applications, there will be choice board and the customer will be allowed to customize their product. Next, under the credit approval, most business-to-business sales are made on credit, and that is true. Your credit must be approved before they are processed, and each customer has a credit limit, meaning your credit limit as a company is not in general, okay? It has to be on a basis of each customer. And the credit limit is the maximum allowable account balance to each customer. Meaning, if you say that the credit limit is only for 15,000 and the purchase of the customer is 20,000, the customer has to pay the first 5,000 and then they can take the next 15,000 as a credit. And then they'll be paying that to you or you will be collecting that for the next or for the coming months or period, okay? And of course, checking inventory availability after the verifying or authority of your credit, if it's okay and if it's already available and approved, the next step is to determine if there is sufficient inventory available to fill the orders. And if there is no sufficient items, you have to create a back order. Okay? And once available, you now have your picking ticket to be sent to the shipment department or shipping department. The picking ticket will authorize the inventory function or inventory control for the release of the merchandise, meaning the release of the merchandise or the inventory from the warehouse is allowed or is authorized using the picking ticket. And for the accuracy, it should be verified upon release from the warehouse. And from the upon release of the warehouse, you have to proceed with the shipment, and then you of course respond to your customer inquiries later on. Okay? And of course, the goal of this is to establish a customer relationship management to retain your customers. Next, we go to your shipping. In your shipping, you have your second basic step in the revenue cycle. Shipping is consist of two steps. Number one, picking and packing the order, and number two, shipping the order. In the pick and pack of the order, the picking ticket is printed by sales order entry and triggers the picking and the packing process already. So again, the picking ticket is an authority for them to get the stocks and to process the shipment. Some investments companies have an automated warehouse system already, and they include computer barcode scanner, and they use that so that upon release of the inventory and upon picking and packing process, they'll be verifying and they'll be updating the stocks as well. And you have what you call your radio frequency identification, replacing the barcodes today, and the RFID tag eliminates the need to align items with the scanners. Instead, the tags can be read as inventory moved throughout the warehouse. Okay? And during the shipping, before the arrival of goods to the stock release document, the shipping department will receive the packing slip and the shipping notice for the receive order function. And of course, the shipping clerk packages the good, attaches the packing slip, completes the shipping notice, and then they will prepare now your bill of lading. Okay? And upon shipment of your order, of course, you prepare your packing slip, your bill of lading. You also prepare your bill to your customer. Okay? Now let's go back to that slide. In the ship the order, one of the major decisions that you need to make in filling, okay, and shipping customer order is the choice of the delivery method. You have to be careful, okay? You have to be careful in the delivery method. Number one, if that's a very important item, might as well you have to deliver it personally to the customer. Let us say from the entity itself to the customer. It's best if you choose to directly deliver rather than using a third party or an outside party, or you outsource a delivery person. Okay? And another is to locate the distribution centers that you will be using as your distribution channels. Next, your billing. Your billing involves two separate related tasks again. Number one is the invoicing, the document created in the billing process, and the sales invoice, which notifies customer of the amount to be paid and where to send the payment. That is your sales invoice. And of course, the second step is to update your AR, meaning you have to update that this customer has a new credit for you or from you, and they have to pay and you have to collect, of course. Okay? And that is, of course, a debit to the customer's account and a credit to their purchases. Of course, the purchases of the customer, not your own purchases. That's for the billing. Under the billing, under the open invoice method, customers normally pay according to each invoice. And the customer is asked to return a copy of the invoice when mailing their payment. This return copy is referred to as your remittance advice, meaning you already paid what is due from you. Okay? And what is due for them. Under the balance forward method, customers typically pay according to the amount shown on a monthly statement. So it's just like you are doing an installment basis. And the monthly statement lists all the transaction, including both sales and the payment. That is for the billing. And then one advantage of the open invoice method is that it is conducive to offering discount for prompt payment, as invoices are individually tracked and aged. However, the disadvantage of that is that it adds complexity as required to maintain the information and the status of each invoice for each customer. Since you do individual or manual tracking and then aging, you also have to uh, provide time and a complex work compared to your balance forward method. Okay, under the cycle of billing or under cycle billing, monthly statement are prepared for subsets of customer at different times. Again, under the billing, you have your sales order or your invoice copy, and of course, you update your sales journal. Now, exception, account adjustment, and write-off. This involves either the return of merchandise by your customer or after repeat attempts, you have a credit memo, okay, to authorize a write-off. After the billing, of course, and after delivering the goods, you also update your inventory records, and then later on, the responsibility or the last responsibility is to do your cash collection. Okay? By the way, regarding your sales return, the organization can expect a certain percentage of its sales to be returned. Okay? Now, if that occurs for a number of reasons, um, what reason could that be? Number one, it can be shipped to the wrong customer or ship the wrong merchandise. Okay? You have the right customer but you ship the wrong merchandise. You have defective goods or the products were damaged during shipment or the buyer refused delivery because the seller shipped goods were too late and delayed in transit. So those are the items or those are the reason when you might be facing some write-off or adjustment on your AR and sales. Okay? Next is your cash collection. Now, for cash collection or your cash receipt procedure, the final step in the revenue cycle, the cashier handles the customer remittance and deposits them in the bank. Your cash remittance slip will provide you the names and the amounts of all the customer remittances, and then you send it to the accounts receivable. Okay? The sales order procedure prescribed in credit transaction that resulted to an establishment of an account receivable, the payment on the account due at some future date and in which the term of trade determine your cash receipt procedure applied for future event. And they involve receiving and securing the cash, depositing the cash to the bank, matching the payment with the customer, and adjusting the correct balance, and properly accounting for and reconciling your financial details. Again, what are the processes involved? Number one, you receive and secure the cash. Okay? Let's write it down. Receive and secure the cash. After that, you deposit. Okay? In doing these processes or step, you also have to implement controls or there should be controls. Next, you match payment with customer balances. Match payment with customer balances. Okay? And then, for any adjustment or for any correction, you do so and properly account. You account already. And you reconcile the final details of the transaction. For the cash collection, you have your lockbox system. A lockbox is a postal address to which the customers send their remittances. And of course, that is not adopted here in the Philippines because hindi ka pa nakakapag-deposit or kaka-deposit mo pa lang, wali na yung pera. Okay? So, actually, we cannot adopt that here. Under an electronic lockbox arrangement, the bank electronically sends the company information about the customer and then the amount is remitted as soon as it receives and scans those check. With the electronic fund transfer, ito yung madalas na natin ginagamit ngayon. Your customer sends the remittances electronically to the company's bank and thus eliminate the delay associated with the time. Actually, when you do electronic transfer today, hindi na siya katulad ng para kang naglalagay ng check na may clearing time pa. Pag nag-bank deposit ka, maganda dyan ngayon yung ibang mga transaction mo, diretso na wala kang aantay na clearing time. Okay? So that is one of the advantages of your EFT or your electronic fund transfer. Okay? Again, during your cash collection, you receive your receipt, update your AR, update your ledger, reconcile your cash receipt, and your deposit. Okay? For your cash collections yan ha. Now, information processing procedure, many organizations have replaced their accounting information with their integrated enterprise resource planning, meaning your integrated or your enterprise resource planning, naka-integrate na kasi dito lahat ng process. Let us say, yung process na authorization, credit approval nandito na, although hindi lahat may access, okay? The access control andyan pa din. Ibig sabihin, only the specific person on that specific task or on that specific position has the access. Siya lang yung makakapag-modify, siya lang yung pwede mag-approve. 'Di ba? Meron din yung mga system or I should say parts of the system na hindi pwede makita ng other departments at hindi nila maa-access. Okay? Ano yung mga important improvements when you already integrated ERP on your system? Number one, real-time order entry, detection of errors, as well as processing, as well as your credit approval. Okay, it is very timely. Pwede mo siya magawa real-time and you can notify the credit manager by email or IM and can immediately take that decision. Wala ka nang aantayin, let's say, another 5 hours until the approval. No, it can be real-time. And of course, inventory records are more accurate and timely because if you go to warehouse at meron kang ERP, dahil may system din sila, pwede nilang i-update diretso. Okay? Next, the warehouse and shipping department can better plan the activities to minimize the time required to fill customers' order. And of course, there should be control as well. The system compares data that the shipping department entered with the sales order file, thereby detecting and facilitating correction of any errors. And your cash receipts are processed more quickly compared to your traditional collection process. And reports are performed, measured, and of course, generated on a timely manner compared to your traditional system. So, for the revenue cycle, you have your control objectives as well as the threats and procedure. In the revenue cycle, a well-designed accounting information should provide adequate control to ensure that the following objectives are met. What are these objectives? Number one, that all transactions are properly authorized. Okay? All are authorized. What else? That the transaction recorded are valid. This is for the validity. Okay? Or for the yes, that's for the validity. Next, the valid authorized transaction are recorded. This is for the completeness. Okay? For the validity, you can also word that as your existence. Does it really exist, diba? Existence. Another objective, all transactions are recorded accurately. That's for the valuation. And then asset, your cash, inventory, and data are safeguarded from loss or theft, especially to information risks. And of course, the business activities are performed efficiently and effectively. Let's go to your revenue cycle threats and controls. Actually, facing your revenue cycle, of course, as well as your conversion and expenditure cycle later on, you'll have threats and control. Okay? There are 6 classes of internal control that we will be tackling later on as your guide in designing and evaluating a good processing control for your revenue cycle. You have your transaction authorization, segregation of duty, supervision, accounting records, access control, and independent verification. Let's start with the threats. What are the possible threats? Number one, during the sales order entry, the primary objective is to enter, process, and enter the sales order process accurately and efficiently and process the customer orders to ensure that you get paid for all credit sales and or sales are legitimate. This is the most important part here, that all sales are legitimate, complete, and valid, and to minimize the loss of revenue arising from poor inventory management. So what are our threats during your sales order entry? Number one, incomplete and inaccurate customer order. So your customer placed 100,000 units, you only placed 95,000 units. So that's already incomplete and inaccurate. Next, credit sales to customer with poor credit. You have to really investigate and check the trustworthiness or the credibility of your customers, especially when you are granting and authorizing credit sales to them. You have to identify at how much, okay, and until when. Of course, your credit term is important. Next, the legitimacy of the orders. and any stock outs, carrying costs, and markdowns. This is true especially during or in the part of the inventory items already or for the warehouse. For the shipping, you also have your shipping threats. What is the objective of your shipping? The objective of your shipping is to fill customer order efficiently and accurately and to safeguard the inventory. However, there may be threats that you'll be facing in shipping. And this is the fifth threat, I should say. Shipping errors, okay? Shipping errors, you ship the wrong item, you ship more item, you ship less item, or you ship a defective item. Next is of course a theft of inventory by employees or the shipment office. So you have to be careful. You have to also be careful of the employees that you hire. Okay? And that you trust in each process of your business. Next one, you also have your threats in your AR and the billing. Again, if you go back, the primary objective of your billing and accounts receivable function is to ensure that customers are billed and the sales invoice are accurate and that the customer accounts are accurately maintained. Okay? Now, in this process, you might be billing so much, okay? And later on, you'll have adjustment. So, how will the adjustment look like? Magkakaroon ka ng billing na ang taas-taas pag nakakolekta ka, yun yung nakolekta mo, tsaka mo i-correct na ito lang yung in-order niya. Tapos at the same time, wala, mabubulsa mo na yung cash or yung sobrang na-collect. Kasi di ba kinorek mo nga kunyari yung ni-record mo kasi nagkamali ka daw. Ayan, yun yung ginagawa minsan sa billing. And of course, aside from the fraudulent action, the next threat is the failure to bill the customer. And of course, billing error. Sometimes yung billing error mo actually sinasadya yan minsan. Okay? And error in maintaining customer accounts. You have to be very strict in your customer accounts. You have to be updated. You have to check validity, closed loop verification, and field checks. Next, you also have your threats in your cash collection. Ito yung nakakollect ka ng sobra, nilagay mo sa account ni customer A, yun pala sa account dapat ni customer B. Diba? So, ano yung primary objective mo for your cash collection? That is to safeguard customer remittances, the cash that you are receiving. And number one na threat mo dyan is the theft of cash. So, to avoid this one, you should have the segregation of duties to reduce the risk on theft. Number one, in handling the cash and the posting of remittances to the customer account. The person who handles the cash must be different from the person who is doing the posting of the remittances to the customer account. Next, handling cash or check and the authorization of the credit memo should be a different function. Okay? That should not come together. And issuing credit memos and maintaining customer account must also be a separate function. Now, let's go to your general control issues. The two general objectives pertaining to all revenue cycle activities are number one, accurate data to be available when needed, and all activities are performed efficiently and effectively. So you only have two brief and important objective under your revenue cycle. So next, regarding the general control issue, your 11th threat is the loss, alteration, and unauthorized disclosure of data. And poor performance. That is in addition to ensuring accuracy and safeguarding of your asset. Of course, everything else not effective and everything else with wrong and poor control, poor performance na lahat yan. Okay? Now, what revenue cycle information is needed para magkaroon tayo ng effective controls? Number one, effective management of revenue requires timely access to accurate information. So, yung ERP mo, gamitin nyo sa tama as an entity. Since that's already an integrated system, yung update ng isang department, it will serve as an update to everyone. So, kapag kunyari, wala na itong customer na to, at nag-order siya ulit, hindi mo na siya pwede pala bigyan ng credit approval kasi nga, wala na siya sa listahan mo. So, if you wanted, you create another customer account for him, tapos, another process ulit para ma-establish yung record niya. And of course, hindi ka pwedeng magbigay ng mga credit approval, 'di ba, sa customers na wala naman sa listahan mo na pwedeng mag-apply. or mag-apply, I should say. Next, operational data are needed to monitor performance and perform recurring tasks. In the revenue cycle, again, that's just a recurring task, meaning you just have to duly monitor the performance and implement controls. Next, in addition, current and historical information is of course needed to enable management to make strategic decision. When you say strategic decision, long-term decision yan. Okay? Meaning, hindi mo yan basta-basta papalitan after 3 months or after 5 months. Next one, the accounting information must also supply the information needed to evaluate performance of your critical process. In the revenue cycle, you also have your revenue matrix. Okay, but this is more on your performance evaluation already. You have your revenue margin, return on sales, you have your gross profit margin. Now we go to your internal control in the revenue cycle. Okay, so let us start with your authorization. For the authorization, the objective of transaction authorization is to ensure that only valid transactions are processed. That is your authorization. Meaning, you do not process, you do not approve it if it is not valid. And you check the policy of the company as well when you create authorization. You do not authorize according to the objective or according to the opinion or according to the wants or the judgment only meaning they have to refer it to the policy of the company kung sino man yung nasa authorization function. Okay? So para sa authorization function, sino yung mga nandyan? Number 1, your credit check. Yung function niya, dapat iba sa function ng nasa inventory, iba sa function ng nasa AR. Next, return policy. Okay? In return policy, kailangan mo kasing i-authorize yan kung pwede bang i-return ng customer mo yung inventory or hindi. And of course, iba dapat ang gumagawa niyan sa nagre-receive ng returned orders. And of course, remittance list or your cash pre-list. Your remittance list. The remittance list must be authorized and dapat iba siya sa function ng nakaka-receive ng remittance sa nagre-record ng remittance. Next, we go to your segregation of duties. Okay? For the supervision, kadalasan ng supervision mo is a compensating control. Meaning, compensating at the same time supplementary control. Kasi let us say meron ka na authorization. So during the authorization process, merong supervision. Number 1, anong role niyan? To supplement and to further the control of your authorization. Next, you have your segregation of duty. Segregation of duty will ensure that no single individual or department will process a transaction in its entirety, or there will be no tasks that are done by only one person. Let us say you record the inventory release and then you release the inventory. What if ang nirelease mo pala sobra sa nire-record mo lang, 'di ba? So you have to segregate those duties. Number 1, transaction authorization should be separate from transaction processing. Was I able to write it down here? Okay. So there. Again, for the segregation of duties, number 1, authorization should be separate from transaction processing. Authorization versus processing. That should be a separate task. Number 2, asset custody should be separate from your asset record keeping. Custody versus record keeping. Okay? Why? Because if the same person does the custody and the record keeping, it is very likely that there will be fraudulent transaction or fraudulent information taken into the system or processed in the system and at the same time, ginawa na nung naka-assign doon, di ba? Ilalagay niya, ito lang yung nirelease mo, yun pala, sobra yung nilabas niya. Yung iba, sa kanya napunta, sa household na niya. Okay? When you say asset custody, of course, literally speaking, that is the physical asset which is at risk during the revenue cycle. And that is your inventory and your cash. So dapat yung may hawak ng cash, iba sa nagre-record ng cash. So nag-collect ka ng cash, yung may hawak, iba sa nagre-record. Okay? Yung asset mo, yung inventory mo, yung may hawak, iba yung nagre-record, nag-update ng records. Next, it should be structured so that the perpetration of fraud requires collusion between two or more individual. Kasi, kung yung fraud mo na yan ay kayang-kaya gawin ng isa, ibig sabihin wala kang segregation of duties. Pero kung nagkaroon ng fraud at nangyari yon because of collusion of two individual in the entity, ibig sabihin nakasegregate naman yung duty. Only that, ayun, nagkasundo ang mga utak nila, nagkasundo sila na mandaya at magkaroon, di ba, ng fraudulent actions against the company. So supervision, we go back to your supervision. Supervision can provide as a control for a properly segregated duty and for authorization. Next is for the accounting records. Anong silbi ng accounting records mo? It will describe the source of the documents, the journals, the ledgers, and will form the audit trail. Your accounting records will form your audit trail. It will help you in your audit. So, saan galing tong transaction na to? Does this really exist? Next one, ito mga to, na record ba talaga sila lahat completely? Ayan. And this control is also an important operational feature of a well-designed accounting system. And sometimes, your transaction get lost in the system, and by following the audit trail, okay, by following the audit trail, you can discover where the error occurred, and several specific control techniques will contribute to your audit trail. Number 1, you have your pre-numbered document. Number 2, your special journal. Number 3, your subsidiary ledgers, and of course, your files. Next, we go to your access control. For the access control, this is to prevent and detect unauthorized or illegal access on the firm's asset. Okay? Again, your access control will prevent and detect unauthorized or illegal access to the firm's asset. Let us say, for the inventory, okay? Yung nasa receiving, bakit siya nandun sa warehouse? Diba? Bakit? Anong intention niya at nasa warehouse siya? Hindi naman siya naka-assign doon. Okay? The physical asset at risk in the revenue cycle are your inventory and your cash. So katulad niyan, yung nagre-record, bakit hawak niya yung cash? Diba? So ang dapat lang na may hawak ng cash, iba siya dun sa nagpa-function for the recording. And of course, limiting the access to the items include, number 1, sa warehouse mo. Number 2, the deposit of your cash to the bank daily. Number 3, the safe or night deposit box for the cash. And of course, the lock of your drawers for safety of your cash receipt department. So those are for your access control. And of course, you have your independent verification. For the verification, the objective of this is to verify the accuracy and the completeness. Okay? Accuracy and completeness naman tayo dito sa independent verification. So, the task should be processed according to the functions only. And to be effective, independent verification must occur at key points in the process where the error can be detected quickly and corrected. So ano yung mga independent verification control natin? Number 1, shipping function will verify the goods sent from the warehouse are correct in type and quantity. Again, yung sa shipping function, i-verify niya na yung goods na mapupunta sa warehouse ay correct and quantity. I mean yung from sa galing sa warehouse. Yung i-ship mo na galing sa warehouse, it should be correct in quantity and in the type. Kung ano ba yung i-ship mo kay customer. Okay? Next, the billing function will reconcile your original sales order with the shipping notice to ensure that your customers are billed only for the quantities shipped. So that's another part of your independent verification. Next one, before you're posting to the control accounts, the ledger function reconciles the general or the journal voucher and the summary reports prepared independently in the different function areas. So that's part of your independent verification. And of course, do not forget your physical system. You also have to take care of your physical system and your information system, especially your ERP. Yung system mo na yan, you have to maintain, you have to update, and you have to also protect. Because kapag may nakapag-access dyan, di ba, may nakapasok sa system mo na hindi pala niya dapat napasok, it will be a great threat sa entity. And anong objectives ng control na to? To ensure that all sales are billed and billings are recorded. Nasabi na natin kanina, control risk associated with extending the credit. Next, prevent loss or theft of your asset, especially your cash and of course your inventory, and report accurate financial information. That's the objective kung bakit tayo may control sa revenue cycle. Okay? So, nandito yung iba. Now, in conclusion, you have to continually refine and improve the performance and measures on your reports, not only on the reports, but also on the process itself. Now, for your review, you can also refer to your book, which is your accounting information system that I placed on our group at the start of this semester. Again, that is found on your Facebook group. You can refer to that book for your review. Okay? Maybe you can expect a quiz after this or an activity. So God bless on your review, and this is already part of your finals. And next lesson, we are going to tackle your expenditure cycle and your conversion cycle.